First of all, you're all very welcome. This is Sinn Féin's pre-budget submission, which we have sent to the government this morning, and which has been costed by the Department of Finance. We have our three main spokespersons on the issues involved here. Pierce Doherty, who's our finance spokesperson, Mary MacDonald, who's spokesperson on public expenditure and reform, and Potter Tobin, who's our jobs and enterprise spokesperson. And essentially, what we would like to see is a very full discussion on the proposals contained in this document. And we intend to do a series of lunches across the state and to send these to as many people as are interested in reading what we have to say about the current situation and how we propose that we can regenerate the economy and get all of us out of this mess. So let me say first of all that we recognise that the deficit has to be reduced. We recognise that this deficit was created by the last government. We believe that the crisis is being continued by this government because while the Taoiseach is strong on rhetoric, there's no delivery, and essentially the government, Labour and Fine Gael, are not tackling the status quo. So Sinn Féin are arguing for a different strategy. We're arguing for a longer time frame, and we want to see proper, realistic deficit reduction with a strategy which is based in the first essence on a fairer tax system. It's been a consistent position of our party that those who can pay most should pay most, even temporarily until we come out of this economic distress. And for example, that the burden should be lifted off those who can least afford it by abolishing the universal social charge. We don't believe you can cut your way out of recession. Jobs need to be defended and retained, and new jobs need to be created. So we would invest 7 billion in jobs retention and jobs creation. We do believe there's a need for the elimination of wasteful public spending, and we would not pay the Anglo promissory note, and we would restructure the remaining unguaranteed unsecured bonds. So this is a matter of choices. This government is making certain choices based upon its view of the world. Sinn Féin are making different choices based upon our view of the world. And the propositions that we're putting forward are citizen-centred. And that's the essence of our.
We've launched our pre-budget submission for 2011. We've set out in huge detail our proposals for savings where there's waste, particularly in the public sector, investment in health and education, a job stimulus package, and a way to get people back to work. It's an alternative route. It's one that we believe will work, and we sent it on to government today. We want them to listen to these proposals because their approach so far has failed. Continuing with the same set of policies will fail again. Sinn Féin offers the alternative, and it's set out in our pre-budget submission.
What we've done in this pre-budget submission is to outline clearly to the government and to the public that there are options that the government can follow, and this is all about options. What Sinn Féin have done is we've looked at how we will reduce the deficit. We're proposing to make an adjustment of €3.5 billion in taxation and eliminating wasteful spending, but we've done it against core principles, and the core principles are we disagree with flat rate taxes because they impact too heavily on low and middle income earners. So property charges, water charges, septic tank charges, all ruled out. Reduction in capital spend, which means less schools, less hospitals, less crashes, all ruled out. What we want to see is a fair taxation system. We don't want to see the burden of taxation that was placed on people by Fianna Fáil government continue. What we're proposing is an abolition of the universal social charge and reintroducing the health and income levies, but at a lower rate. That would take 500,000 people, the lowest earners in society, out of the tax net. It would also benefit every single taxpayer up to the tune of those that are earning up to the tune of €75,000. And in place of that there, we would introduce a third rate of tax at 48% for people that earn in excess of €100,000. We would introduce a wealth tax at 1% for those that have net assets above €1 million. And what we want to do is eliminate wasteful spending. So we believe at this time when Ireland's at crisis that people in the public sector shouldn't be earning over €100,000. So we would immediately cap their salary at €100,000 and set up a high pay commission that would examine the appropriate levels of pay for them into the future. We want to stop the idea where the public purse, people out there who can't even afford private healthcare, that they are subsidising private healthcare for high income earners. So that needs to stop, which would save over €350 million. But Sinn Féin goes further than just readjusting the tax system and making savings. What we want to do is invest in certain areas. So there's a number of places that we would invest under a pre-budget submission.
Before I just detail the investment plan, I think it's important just to recap where the current policies have actually got us. So we're experiencing at the moment 447,000 people unemployed. 70,000 people are being forced to emigrate on an annual basis. And even by the government plans, there will be 390,000 people unemployed by 2015. With that level of unemployment, there's no doubt that the crisis level of emigration is going to continue in those years. We've had 3 years of stagnation or very, very low growth. And as has been alluded, the previous government took €20 billion out of the economy. Private investment reduced by 30 billion. And now this government wants to reduce the amount of money in the economy again by 12 billion. So it's a very, very serious situation. An enormous amount of money has been taken out of the economy. And then the government asked why their projected growth rates have to be evaluated and lowered every single year. This, we feel, is probably the biggest economic crisis the state is in since World War II. And it's important at this stage that we approach the solution with a large Keynesian-type stimulus investment package. And we believe that the route to growth and the route to jobs is the development of a proper education system, the development of proper infrastructure, the development of proper energy provision, and also innovation. And that's where we seek to deliver our investment over the next number of years. As has been said, we'll be looking to fund it by savings from waste in the public sector, also by funds within the National Pension Reserve Fund and funds from the European Investment Bank. Our stimulus package is 7 billion, roughly 5.3 from the National Pension Reserve Fund and 1.7 from the European Investment Bank. And it will go on investment into the areas that I just mentioned and also a jobs retention programme. We aim to create 60,000 jobs over the 3-year period directly and many more indirectly, but we'll also save about 96,000 jobs with regards to job retention schemes. And it's important that the stimulus package, the results of that stimulus will be reinvested again into capital expenditure in the subsequent years. And we've also detailed on page 29 how synergies can be achieved with regard to all Ireland's economy and how savings can be made in that area as well.